So colonized countries of Britain, countries that we carried over this ecological imperialism. For example, in our country, in my district, take the case of our district, Kanyakumari district. What the Britishers did was that they cut down all the indigenous plants. They cleared all the indigenous plants, and they started to plant the rubber trees that promoted monoculture, which in fact destroyed a lot of varieties of medicinal plants. So
Sorry,
it is
ma'am.
in.
Sorry, ma'am. We are unable to see the slides, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So now I'm back. I'm back with my video. So it is in this context the importance of the sacred groves comes. So why sacred groves are considered as an important component of biological research now? See, we live in a society being promoted where the rubber plantation is promoted in the place of our life reserves. So here it is it's really surprising to note that, but through these life reserves, through these sacred groves, are the people who have gone before us, as I told you, they have modeled a life system where everything will be protected. So today we are familiar with the Japanese mini forest. Niyaki's Japanese mini forest. In fact, it is this Japanese, the same concept is being protected to the sacred groves. And today I heard one of our resource persons mentioning about the sacred groves. So here I am to talk about the belief systems behind the sacred groves. So what is sacred groves? Sacred groves are a patch of land which will be forest with the support system of certain beliefs. In Kerala and Tamil Nadu, that means in Kerala and Kanyakumari district, they are being called as kavugal. Sacred groves are known by different names, but here I'm talking about the southern end of our country. They are called as kavugal, and there will be a deity and there will not be a deity. The sacred groves, it's not necessary that there should be a deity there. There should be a deity to worship. So most of the deities worshipped there would be of the snake gods, which you call as Naga Devangal. Snakes are being worshipped in the sacred groves. So what will be there in the sacred groves? All type of plants will be there, from people, from the local varieties of plants, both everything, herbs, shrubs, and big trees. The mixing of all the trees will be there, and the belief will be that no tree has to be cut. Whatever trees grow up, or whatever plants grow up in the sacred groves, should not be cut off. So naturally, what happens there is the protection of the flora and fauna. And adding to this, we have a water body there. So a water body, which we call it as Neerari. Neera means water, Ari means the pond. So you have a water body, be it be the plants, be it be the animals, it should not be harmed. It should not be touched upon. That is the belief there. Because in this part of the country, you go to the history of the temples. It is really interesting to see that all the temples will be having the history of the blood oozing out of that, and the belief that follow, and the result of which would be the construction of a temple in that place. So cutting of a tree is considered indeed as a crime, and all the mythologies have the same pattern. A tree will be cut, and the blood being oozed out of the tree, and a temple being built upon that place. So, and what makes a sacred grove different from a temple, from other places of worship? Sacred groves are maintained inside the yeah, where we live, in our compound where we live. I know in those days when we had this joint family, a whole family will maybe having 1 hectare of land around their house, and the sacred grove will be there within those compound. So it's a sort of family deity. A mini forest will be maintained inside the premises of our own houses. How nice it is. And the most interesting thing is that, uh, here we consider, that snakes are very venomous, but snakes are worshipped in the sacred groves. And it is told that no snake should be harmed. No snake around the sacred groves should be harmed. So we have heard stories where our grandmothers will be telling that, the ones, like the story from my mother, that when she was a child, when she came back from the school, there was a snake in the front yard, and and her grandmother, they have what they have a sort of communication with the snake. Come on, you please don't, no, our the children are there, they will be frightened if you are here, please go back to your place. See how interesting it is. And this is not something a myth which we do not which is of generations back. This is a story just from a generation back. And even now in Kerala you have this Manarshala, where the snakes are being worshipped, and where you can see a lot of snakes around. So snakes hold a very important place. And very interestingly, we never hear stories of snakes harming the human being. So there is a communion between the animals and human beings in this, but in the sacred groves. But unfortunately, in 1970s, what has happened is that, like when there was a movement that to wipe out all the superstitious beliefs, many people, that is not alone that, when the population, when there were overpopulation, because of the overpopulation, people could not afford a sacred grove in their own premises. So what they did was, all the idols of the snakes were transferred to the temples. So in my place in Kanyakumari district, there is a temple called Nagarkoil, where we have a place with the same name, that is the temple of the snakes. You go there, you can see lot of idols from the sacred groves all around the district. So you go to Kerala, in Manarshala, you can see the idols from all around the sacred groves. So now sacred groves have become a burden for the families, and the space given to the sacred groves are also being limited. So we have it is shrinking. And but still, the positive thing is that at least in some of the places, sacred groves are being maintained. The people are still afraid. Like I came across a place which was for sale, but people are not ready to get the place, but to purchase that particular land, because they are so afraid, because there was a sacred grove once. And to my surprise, as I lived in a nearby plot, there were a lot of snakes. There were a lot of snakes around. Like, when you get out of the house, there will be a snake lying there. It's really scaring, it's really frightening. But the reason being told was that there was a sacred grove, and now as the sacred groves even though the sacred groves are being destroyed, there is no sacred grove there. People are not ready to purchase that land, because the whole area is full of snakes. So snakes play an important role here. That is, the flora and fauna are preserved in such a way. So the best part is that people are now today people are getting aware of the importance of the sacred groves. And as I told you, the Western Ghats harbor all sort of medicinal plants. So you go to the sacred groves, you can find all sort of medicinal plants. And why one should be bothered about the medicinal plants? That it should be the job of the Ayurveda doctors. See, the lifestyle here is entirely different. Right from the birth to the death, you can see that uh, there will be the involvement of lot of plants in the life cycle of a human being. Like as I told you, so in all other parts of the country, tulsi is being considered as a holy plant, and people worship tulsi. But here, to the people all around me, not only tulsi, we are in search. We because of this riti rivas resins, we have to we will be always in search of many types of plants. For example, after the delivery, even before delivery, there are a lot of rituals. After the delivery, for 15 days, women will be given a kind of preparation, that is the mixing of the decoction of the plants and the rice for 15 days, and there will be around 7 plants. We have to pick out 7 plants from our backyard which has medicinal properties, and the decoction will be taken of those plants. No, even you cannot call it as decoction. It is just we just take the juice of those leaves, we mix it up with the rice and form a preparation, and that will be fed to the woman who has delivered a child. So this is again I have found that this is a rhythm, this is a custom which is not there in any other parts of our country or any other part of even the state of Tamil Nadu. It is very particular to this region alone. Maybe you have a lot of plants available and this system developed, and from here this continues, and we have the role of plants even in the death rituals. Again, not tulsi, but lot of other plants that should be used for the rituals related to death. And adding to this, I just I will move on to the capitalism and the degeneration after this presentation, after my lecture. So sacred groves, no, in the premises of one's house. Not only this, you take the temples. The temples also will be maintaining a sacred grove. There will be a sacred grove in all the prominent temples, where you should not touch the trees. You're not supposed to touch the trees. And even now there are rituals where if you have cut down a tree, and if a person accidentally falls sick, I have experienced. After the cutting down of a teak tree, a person got sick accidentally, and there are a lot of people came in telling that this is because he has cut that particular tree, and lot of pariharams have to be done. That means to resolve the issue. So even now people believe that. So not only in the household, sacred groves are in the households, and also in the premises of the temples, where there will be a big tree and also the shrubs and herbs, and also a large pond. So this is the perfect example of an ecosystem where everything is being maintained in a single place. So it is because this is what I have been telling. Be aware of our sustainable livelihood. We know about our sustainable livelihood. But what is happening now is that, because of that, as I told earlier, because of this monoculture, it's it's a sorry state of affairs. Once, as part of my research 4 or 5 years back, I went in search of sacred groves. As I have heard from my parents, I told that I want